Hola, mi amigos, mi amo Tim with Online Big Blue, bringing you the best in New York Giants sports talk and entertainment. I told you we were going to mix it up. I'm just joking. We are a half Hispanic household here, so I always like to throw in my Latin flair. I wanted to do something real quick. Talk about Joe Judge and Deandre Baker. So Deandre Baker looks like he is going to sign on the practice squad for the Chiefs. And like I said, I am glad that it all worked out for him. I'm glad he can continue his career elsewhere. But I'm also glad that he's not continuing it with the New York Giants. And I find it interesting that we had some interesting comments from Joe Judge, because I spoke to someone yesterday that has some knowledge, and with the same gentleman that gave us the Andrew Thomas information, a couple other things, and he has some knowledge about the Giants and certain things, and he even said that he did not think, or the feeling was in East Rutherford, that Joe Judge did not want Deandre Baker on the team. And Joe Judge then had a quote yesterday saying, when asked about Baker, I wish him the best of luck in the future. We made the decision that we think is best for the program, and that's really all I have to say about that. I love it because every time I hear about that's really all I have to say about that, Jen A. I always think Forrest Gump for some reason about that. But you know what? I think everyone knows my position on Joe Judge. I was never the biggest Joe Judge fan when they hired him. I thought some of the things that he said and did contradicted some of the things he did in training camp. I thought that the Rojas situation and the Deandre Baker situation should have been handled exponentially and not go through the time process. Like I said, I always felt that we should release Baker, only because of the fact that, and it's not only because of the fact of what happened or him being in that situation in Miami, but it's more the fact that he was late to meetings. He admitted by week 10 he didn't know the playbook. He wasn't listening to the veterans. He took plays off. And everyone wants to blame Betcher by saying, well, he had him in zone coverage and he's a man-to-man guy. And that's true. He's a press cover corner. Yeah, I agree. He's a press cover corner, though, with 4.5 speed at best. So it's not like we had Deion Sanders out there on the edge. So, I mean, and I think that you sit there and you talk about preaching a culture. And like I said, in my mind, a million times I've said it before, you can't tell me you're preaching a culture, then go around and sign a guy like Deandre Baker back to the team. Because he should not be part of the culture. The culture is what you had built at the start of training camp, or what you had done from the moment you became head coach. That's what the building a winning culture is. And I have to applaud the Giants, and I really have to applaud Joe Judge for keeping those standards that they had set via words and sometimes not via their actions, but then standing by those standards. And like I said, I have never been, I was not a Joe Judge hire fan. I wasn't. I admit that. But, and I did a video a couple weeks ago that even said, and I think it was like how a 1-6 coach or whatever it was has made me believe. Now, I'm not saying that Joe Judge is going to be the future of the Giants. The jury is still out on that. Is he heading in the right direction of being a good NFL head coach? Yes. He's standing by his convictions. He understands that he is building something with this team. And while a lot of people are looking at a 2-7 team or 3-7 team and saying, I said 2-7 because of the fact that I was thinking about the week before, but they are thinking to themselves, a lot of fans, that we can make the playoffs. But Joe Judge is looking at this as a long-term project. I think that Joe Judge is probably happy that they have the potential to make the playoffs, but I think he's more happy with the fact that his team seems to progress weekly. He just needs to figure out the quarterback situation. And Daniel Jones needs to figure out how to be an NFL quarterback again. I mean, if you want to sit there and think about it, we should potentially, this team potentially should have 5 wins and be leading the division. There was just too many mistakes. The games before the last 2 that Daniel Jones made that cost us the games. And it's just one of those things. And, and I don't blame Daniel Jones completely for costing us some of those games, but he was a contributing factor. I think that would be a better way to put it. He was a contributing factor to those losses. And I think Joe Judge, though, understands we are not building just for 2020. We are building for 2021 and beyond. But then to my point is, and I thought this was interesting because someone sent me an email about it. Could a 6-10 coach who makes the playoffs become NFL Coach of the Year? And I was thinking about it going, well, you know what? If this keeps up, we were probably better than a 6-win team. And if miracles of all miracles happens and we somehow make the playoffs, I mean, you really have, and it's weird and funny to say, but you really do have to put Joe Judge into consideration for NFL Coach of the Year. I mean, I know it'd be unprecedented, and I know some people would be like, that's just crazy. But think about it. Think about where this team has been the last 3 years to where we are now. Yeah, we're 3-7. But like I said, we should probably have 5 wins right now. And Joe Judge, the Giants outside of the Pittsburgh game have really been in every game this year. Now, sometimes the scores look a little bit closer because we had some late touchdowns, but we had at least 2-3 instances where we had the ball at the end of the game with a chance to win the game. So, I mean, it's really weird to say, but yes, I think that a 6-10 coach should have some type of consideration for Coach of the Year. I mean, it's just dumbfounding me because, like I said, I did not want to hire Joe Judge. I understand, I had nothing against him, but I wanted a more established guy to come in here. But like I said, I will gladly and gleefully admit I was wrong about Joe Judge if he turns this all around. I will be the first one to hop up and step up to that Joe Judge bandwagon. But I will. I'm not a bandwagon guy. I shouldn't say that. I don't jump on the bandwagon. I don't jump off the bandwagon. I'm a Giant fan. Good, bad, true, or indifferent, I'm a Giant fan. But I will be happy to admit that I was 100% wrong with Joe Judge. And I will do video after video extolling the man's virtues if he turns this organization around. And then the weird thing is also, if you think about it, if Joe Judge at 6-10 gets consideration for Coach of the Year, does Dave Gettleman get consideration for General Manager of the Year? That would kill a lot of people. That really would. I love it because, like the Odell Beckham trade, I've said it a million times. I understood that trade. I get it. I still get it to this day. And I have to say that, I was excited when they brought in Peppers. I like the extra draft choice. Technically you also have to bring in, we also technically brought in Zeidler because the Olivier Vernon trade was all part, it was all basically one big trade. But like I said, I understood that trade. I wasn't one of these fans that cried, "Oh, Odell." I was more upset that Odell was gone because of his talent, not because of what I thought it was going to do to the team. But, that's turned out to be a good move, and Leonard Williams is making everyone look like fools, including me. I mean, I don't know if he's going to be worth Aaron Donald money, but he has been a disruptor. He has played exceptionally well this season. And I don't know if it's because he's playing off, when he's playing off the tag and he's looking for that contract. But there's going to be decisions in this offseason, especially when we have to see what the repercussions of COVID is on the cap, if it's going to stay the same or go down because of revenue. But like I said, it's going to be an interesting situation with Dalvin Tomlinson and Leonard Williams. Which one do you keep? And a lot of people are probably going to say Leonard Williams because you have Dexter Lawrence and Austin Johnson. But then again, Dalvin Tomlinson reminds me of Joseph. The defensive tackle that we had that was awesome that went over to Minnesota. So I mean, it's going to be an interesting situation to figure out what I mean, like I said, this year, 2020 has been so screwy. I just can't wait to get out of it and move on, go into 2021. And again, this is Tim with Online Big Blue, bringing you the best in New York Giants sports talk and entertainment. And as always, if you could like, you could subscribe. If you could ring that bell, I think you know what that means. That'd be awesome.